Hi, performers and achievers. Welcome to Performers and Achievers Daily with me, Raj Gavurla. First of all, let me say Happy New Year. It's the beginning of 2025. 2025. So Happy New Year to you, your family, extended family, friends, and whomever else is in your life. So let's continue our discussion, or in this episode, we will talk about or discuss the framework or my framework. And that framework was my elite mental performance, the zone effect mastery framework. And I use your breathing as an example, right? Because every day we breathe. However, I showed you with breathing exercises and then being able to highly individually customize them for your specific situation is essential. And that's what I help my clients, my customers with, right? In my coaching, training, and teaching, and putting all that together so that they have more beneficial, tangible results as performers and achievers, that they experience enjoyment. And there are times that it's fun. And then there's times that, yes, there's adversity, there's challenges, there are maybe some difficulties. However, we know that most of the time it should be easy. And then as we continue to progress and we do like progressive overload, we raise our abilities. So I bring out your gifts, talents, and skills. So let's unpack that. So the first one was mastery, and that was live your dreams and clear goals. The second one was awareness, awareness. The third was strategy. The fourth was bring out your authentic gifts, talents, and skills. And then the fifth one was actionable. And then the sixth one was at the bottom was mastery again. However, this mastery is evaluate, reflect. Me as your accountability support partner, recovery, rejuvenation, and then revise so that you can continue to sustainably make progression, development, growth, and evolution. So let's start at the top and we'll unpack this. And each day I'll address one of the areas. So today we'll talk about mastery, the first one at the very top. And that's live your dreams and clear goals. If you don't have dreams, then there's an issue. And I will venture to say that you do have dreams, because if you didn't, you would be insane. It's known scientifically that an individual that doesn't have the ability to dream would go insane. So you do have dreams. Now, how clear are you on those dreams? Have you talked about them with someone? Have you discussed them? Do you know what they are? And then additionally, have you made them into clear goals that you can break them down into your most important tasks? And that's essential. Now, here's the big thing. These are your dreams. These are your clear goals. These are your most important tasks because you're the most familiar with your situation. You're the most familiar with what your dreams are, your desires are. And of course, in our coaching, training, and teaching, I bring those out of you because a lot of people do have dreams and they may even have clear goals, but they're not the clarity's not there, or there's some apprehension about them, right? Because obviously a dream requires more than you. I mean, you're the main person for sure. However, it requires more than you. And so, what does it require? Well, let's take a look. First of all, I will put in the show notes my winning mental life pyramid. Okay. And I won't get into that, but you can see it in the show notes. You can download it. It's just a graph, not a graph, but a visual. And you can understand exactly what I mean there by that part of it. I won't go into that right now. Maybe one time I'll unpack that for everyone. So, what's at the top of that pyramid, though, is your inspiration and motivation, right? So, your dreams, who inspires you? So, let's say you're in business. Are there some business people that inspire you? One of the books I recommend is the Book of Business Wisdom, edited by Peter Krass. When I first went into starting a business, being an entrepreneur, I read that book. It's filled with essays, talks about all these great entrepreneurs and how they came to fruition and what the meaning and purpose of business is. There's also another book called Business as a Calling by Michael Novak that I read, right? And these help to have something to inspire towards, right? And so in today's society, maybe you are inspired by the Bill Gates, the Warren Buffetts, the Richard Bransons, the Elon Musks, the the Jeff Bezos, I don't know, whomever it may be, or maybe it's somebody else. Maybe it's your grandfather who started a company. I mean, these are big, big names that I'm pointing out, but obviously there's space for everyone because a lot of the big companies use the smaller companies to help them. So it's important that you have inspiration. Who are you modeling? Who inspires you? If you're in sports, for example, as you all know, I'm not only there for business people, business owners, entrepreneurs, executives. I'm also there for sports coaches, players, parents, right? And so in my sports, I mean, I can tell you right now, the people that inspired me to play sports as far as I'm modeling them and just sort of wanted to be similar to them, not exactly like them. I wanted to bring out my own gifts, talents, and skills. And number one in soccer was Pele. I mean, that was the person. I played center forward. Pele was the person. So he inspired me. I read a couple of his books. I watched one of his documentaries. And so Pele is the one for me. And I watched his highlights, all the ones that I could ever find. I've seen them all. That's amazing, incredible, actually. And then in basketball, it's Isaiah Thomas, who played for the Detroit Pistons. He's always been my basketball person, the individual who just inspired me a lot, who I would love to meet one day in person and obviously play basketball. I still am a good competitive basketball player, so I'm sure he could uh, inspire me even more. And then in tennis, for example, it was Bjorn Borg, out of all people, Borg. And, it's so weird. Like I tried to do his two-handed backhand, I could never do it. I play with a one-handed backhand. However, he was just artistic to me, and I'm more of an all-court player. He was more of a baseliner. However, that's who inspired me. That's the model. I modeled him. His approach and just everything about him. The long hair, right? Although I don't have long hair, he just looked cool and looked like a tennis player, and he was very calm and moved around the court so fluidly. And then, of course, there's all sorts of other sports, like in football, right? In football, it was Darrell Green of the Washington Commanders, right? They're called the Commanders now. So I'll honor that. Darrell Green, number 28, DB. He was my guy. He still is my guy. I'd love to meet him in person too. I'd love to meet Borg in person too. Uh, so this is just Those are the people that inspired me. So who's inspiring you, right? It should be someone that you can like be inspired by in a good way, in a beneficial way. Someone you can model, someone that you can sort of pattern yourself around in lots of ways. But again, you were bringing out your gifts, talents, and skills, and we'll get to that when we get to that section of my framework. However, that's essential. So, for example, before I got into doing this, what I'm doing now, I had a career in engineering as an automation controls engineer. Who inspired me? My dad. My dad was in automation controls, been in that industry for 45, 50 years. So he's the one who inspired me. I was actually just sort of following in his path in a way. And I branched off and went another direction. However, that's that was another reason that I was inspired, my dad. So who is it for you in your dreams? Whoever it is, it could be anyone. Now, what's most important, again, I want to emphasize these are your dreams. These aren't your parents telling you these are your dreams. This isn't some test telling you these are your dreams. This isn't a friend telling you these are your dreams. These are your dreams. You identify them. Now, I can help you to bring those out, right? And same thing with your goals. I can help you bring those out as well. For you to identify them, not for someone else to tell them what they are to you. This is where a lot of companies are challenged, right? They come in and they say, these are our goals, these are our goals. And they don't ask the people who are actually there doing what are their goals. And as they, know those goals, then they can sort of shape what, okay, now these are our goals, right? Instead of this real top-down structure. And I can understand the reason for both, obviously. However, I think that having a two-pronged approach would be much, much more beneficial results. I think the retention and development and growth sustainably would be that much greater. So that's essential to live your dreams and have clear goals. Now, obviously, okay, and I just want to point this out, okay, because I know we have people who are challenged, who for whatever reason are in a life situation and stuff, and that for whatever reason they made some decisions, some choices. I know because I'm an inspirational edutainment, motivational speaker. I've been in front of a lot of these individuals, and they're good people. They just were modeling or got to a point where they were around the wrong people or they were being inspired or coaxed or deceived marketing, for example, and just didn't really have the right approach. And so therefore, once they find out what those dreams are and those clear goals of theirs are, and they identify those, then it becomes much easier, right? So your mastery, that first level of my framework for elite mental performance, the zone and the zone effect is mastery. Live your dreams and clear goals. And you identify those yourself. Not, oh, we think, he can be uh, a soccer player, a baseball player, a golfer. Well, I mean, it's good that, maybe they introduce you to all those, eventually you probably say, well, this is the one I like. And I can give you example and after example of people trying to force someone into a certain category, certain direction, and it never works. It's actually very detrimental because it causes a lot of undue friction and conflict that should never happen because you should be able to just really derive this enjoyment, this inner fulfillment from what it is that you're doing, right? And you should be able to see those beneficial, tangible results, have that enjoyment, have that fun. And then when you do run into some adversity or something that's too challenging, know how to go about saying that, hey, I can take this challenge on and contact Raj, or I'll contact someone else who's an expert in a different field, in fitness or in, robotics or whomever it is, right? And you learn about it, research it, etc. And so that's the whole purpose of these videos is that, hey, at least if you have access to the internet, you can see these videos. And if you like more, then you're welcome to click on one of the links and come in. We'll have a conversation and talk about how it is that I can help and support you further, right? And really continue to flourish from that point of view. And so that's what's very important is mastery. Now, what is this elite? Okay, what does elite mean? Elite means that I'm not just focused on the elite people who are already elite or at the very pinnacle 1% of the population. That's not what elite means. I help and support individuals that are professionals all the way to 9 years old. What elite means is that you learn those strategies, those skills, those preparation, mentally and physically prepare, right? Reality is that, hey, regardless, they need to live their dreams and have clear goals and identify those in their most important tasks. So that's essential. And I may be probably one of the best things you can do in the New Year's is revisit those, see where you are on those, and continue to go forward with that. And again, make sustainable progression, development, growth, and evolution, right? That's very, very important for you. That will give you conviction, that will make commitment easier, and that will also motivate you intrinsically and your desire, and it should align with your core values, right? Which is essentially what it does is it fulfills you and you're able to experience tangible beneficial results. Enjoyment. There'll be some challenges, obviously, some adversity, and then also you will experience fun. And that's sounds good to me. And again, I wish you uh, happy New Year 2025. Your bonus today is exactly this. You can sit here and watch these videos, and this is one of the parts of my framework, and that is to actually make it actionable. Put it in writing. What are your dreams, your clear goals? Are you living them? What are your most important tasks? Now, I covered elite, I covered mental performance. So, what is this, the zone? And what's the zone effect about? Well, the zone, as we all know, many people talk about the zone, or some people call it flow. And I actually do coach, teach, and train in that area because, and I'll put a video on this as well, and you can see it behind me, one of my frameworks for the zone and the zone effect. And the zone is individually, okay? However, I told you you can only go so far individually. Then there's the zone effect, and the zone effect is your support system, your team, right? Your family, people that are important to you, extended family, friends. And so, how do you keep all that together like this so that they flow versus doing this? And so, it's very real. I know some people say that, and I agree with them. You don't chase the zone, you don't chase the zone effect. However, with your preparation, right, with knowing the elite mental performance tools, skills, strategies, the propensity of the zone and the zone effect occurring increases. So instead of being, let's say, in the zone 10% while you're performing and achieving, you're in it maybe 15%. Or maybe, let's say, you're just 10% still, right? A lot of people say they're in the zone 10% of the time, elite performers. However, in that 10%, there's a quality there, right? There's a quality. You're not always going at 100%. Not always. You're going at the percent that you need to go in the zone as far as effort, exertion to accomplish what it is that you're trying to accomplish, right? And so there's a variance there in that 90% to 100%, that 10%, you're modulating your zone there, right? So yeah, you may be in the zone for 10% of the time. However, sometimes, you're performing at that 90% level of the zone. But then sometimes you're at that 94, 95, 96, 98%, sometimes 100%, right? So look at it that way. Take that as your perspective. And again, this is another area that I specialize in. And a lot of people don't coach, train, and teach this because, again, it's like happiness. You can't just be happy. You can't chase it. You can't just say, I'm happy. No, real life comes. And when you're performing, real performance comes. And so what you do is you experience the zone more often. And by doing that, again, that's individually. And then the zone effect is very similar, but you're just doing that with a group of people or more than one person, your team, your organization, etc. And so that is what elite mental performance, the zone and the zone effect framework mastery is about. Okay. So it's not just for the elite 1% of the population in the world. No, my whole business is completely put together so that I can help professionals all the way to 9 years old at all kinds of levels. And I like doing that. I don't like just being at that one area because I love to see and experience really the beneficial, tangible progression that I see, right? That just comes naturally, right? Sometimes it's just with, someone's 9 years old and a youth playing gold cup soccer. It's pretty amazing, right? And before then, they were playing maybe blue soccer. I forget the color it is. So, just seeing their sustainable progression, development, and their growth and evolution is really what brings me back to doing what I love to do. This is it, right? And so that's why I help and support performers and achievers. Okay. So that's very important. So again, your bonus is to look at where you are with living your dreams, your clear goals. Have you identified those? Have you identified your most important tasks? Well, if you already have them, how are you progressing? Where are some of the biggest challenges you're facing? What are they? Well, are you going to sit there and say, well, I've only gone so far and, that's a waste of time and I can go do something else? Or are you going to contact the right people? You might contact me so that you can add to your support system, right? See, a lot of the challenge with dreams and clear goals is that there's an all or nothing thinking, right? Hey, I'm going to start this business. Well, if I don't make, you know, pick a number, well, then I'm a failure. No, you're not a failure. Think of all the people you met, all the things you learned, the experiences you've had, right? And obviously, you've made tangible, beneficial results. You've had enjoyment, you've had fun, you've experienced all that, but you've also experienced, especially in entrepreneurship, business ownership, you've experienced adversity. You've experienced too challenging, and that's why there's other experts around like me who are there to help you versus you going and having to try to figure it out, which is going to be, so time consuming for you because it's not your expertise. Now, it's good for you to learn about it and know about it. Sure. That's real important. And that's the reason for an expert is that, hey, they can do it much faster. The quality is going to be much better, and they're going to highly individually customize it for you. And that's what I do for my customers. It's all highly individually customized because I know that each person is different and unique. There is no other way and more clear than that. I couldn't make it any more clear than that. It really is. And it's proven every time that I go and I help and I support one of my customers. They're just all different and unique. And that's what makes us amazing as individuals, as people, right? Different backgrounds, different education, different training, different learning, different coaching, different lifestyles, cultures, environments we grew up in. I mean, it just all adds up where we went to schools, everything, you know, things that have happened in our lives. Some of them may be tragic, some of them may not be. I mean, I'm very compassionate. I think that's very important. It's an essential skill, and I empathize. Sure. And, I would never want to take anyone away from living their dreams and their clear goals and accomplishing their most important tasks. I mean, that's like taking away their ability to live. I mean, I would never do that. So that's what's very important to me. So if you like my podcast, this video, like it and make comments in the comment section. Also, for private, personal, professional, confidential programs and services to help and support you, visit rajgavurla.com, fill out the brief form, and we will contact you as soon as you can. Also, in the show notes, you will see there is a message there or a link there to a platform I'm on that's called coachup.com. And you'll see my profile there. And again, that's for sports services. So this is for sports coaches, players, athletes, parents. Okay, so you can click on that. Now, here is something else. Okay, and this is where the humanitarian in me comes out. And you may not have been affected by this, but I think that more and more people are. And it would not surprise me if it's not you, then someone in your family, extended family, your friends, or just someone in the community or out in the world. This is a huge issue, a very huge issue. And time is of the essence. And that is, I started a petition on change.org. I've experienced this in my family. I know when the advocacy that I do in the work in the community, this is occurring. It's affecting families, extended families, friends, employers, businesses, schools, communities, nations, the world, the universe. It really is. And that is, here is the goal. The goal is to make medication with zero side effects. And my petition is there on change.org. Right now, I have 111 signatures, and I'm looking to obviously increase that drastically. However, I am told by change.org that having 125 signatures makes the petition, whatever it is that the petition is about, successful. That means someone's making and taking actionable resolution of it. And the title of it is something to the effect of eradicating lethal, life-threatening, and adverse side effects. So please, I would love your support. This is something I've been advocating for decades. And this is just not only in mental health. This is in all areas of medicine. You name it, and side effects are definitely there. Medical errors are there. And these are things that are for many is very preventable. For some of these, uh, there's obviously this huge, huge risk where we're playing basically Russian roulette, and people deserve more, better. They need better, and we as humanity, pharmaceutical companies, the researchers, the medical community, we all need to band together, people in general, to really make this something that defines and takes us to that next level of proactive, preventative, and cure medical conditions. So again, I ask for your support, and please forward it to your family, extended family, friends, people you work with, and others. Thank you very much.